Most drivers have no idea that 90% of automatic transmission failures begin not on the road, but with what is inside the case: overheating caused by simple mistakes they make every day. A single wrong move with your fluid or a skipped service interval can quietly turn a $250 fix into a $7,000 disaster. And 600,000 breakdowns a year prove it. Why do manufacturers call it lifetime fluid? And what secret do engineers know that could double your transmission's lifespan? The real explanation is far more eye-opening than you think. Transmission fluid does 3 jobs at once. It lubricates moving parts, cools the system, and creates the hydraulic pressure that makes gear changes possible. Every mile you drive, that fluid breaks down a little more, losing color, losing its protective strength, and losing the ability to keep heat under control. Fresh fluid is bright red. When it turns dark brown or black and starts to smell burnt, that is not just a warning sign. It is proof the chemistry inside your transmission is failing. Mechanics know the scent immediately. What most drivers do not realize is that heat is the silent killer here. Up to 90% of automatic transmission failures trace back to overheating, and almost all of it can be prevented with basic maintenance. A fluid change costs between $250 and $350. Ignore it, and you are looking at a bill between $5,500 and $7,000 for a replacement. That is the kind of money people spend swapping engines, not fixing a part most drivers never think about. 600,000 vehicles get towed every year for transmission failure, and the vast majority of those breakdowns could have been avoided with routine service. The math is brutal. A small investment now or a massive one later. The idea of lifetime transmission fluid sounds reassuring, but it is a marketing decision, not an engineering one. Manufacturers call it lifetime because they expect the vehicle to last 90 to 120,000 miles. That is the window they care about. After that, you are on your own. The reality is, fluid degrades long before most cars reach that so-called lifetime. A former Ford transmission engineer put it bluntly. Engineers wanted 30,000-mile fluid changes, but management pushed for lifetime designations to make maintenance look easier. That same engineer changes his own fluid every 30,000 miles, no matter what the manual says. He has seen the inside of failed transmissions and knows what happens when fluid is left to die in the case. A veteran truck mechanic with 35 years in the business follows a simple rule: service at half the factory interval. If the book says 60,000, he does it at 30. He has pulled pans off so-called lifetime transmissions after 100,000 miles and found nothing but sludge and metal shavings. The difference between a clean, well-maintained transmission and a burnt-out hulk is always the same: regular fluid changes. Skipping them is not just a gamble, it is almost a guarantee you will be joining the ranks of those 600,000 breakdowns. The warning signs are easy to spot if you are paying attention. Ignore them, and the damage adds up faster than most people realize. One wrong bottle of transmission fluid can start a chain reaction that mechanics sometimes can't undo. Every automatic transmission is engineered for a specific chemistry. Fluid families like Dexron for General Motors, Mercon for Ford, and ATF +4 for Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram. Each formula is built around exact viscosity ratings, friction modifiers, and additive packages. These are not just labels, they are the difference between smooth shifting and catastrophic failure. Using the wrong fluid means the chemistry inside your transmission no longer matches what the system was designed for. Lubrication fails, heat builds up, and the friction materials inside start to break down. The damage begins with the very first mile and compounds with every rotation of the gears. The risk grows even higher with continuously variable transmissions. Continuously variable transmissions demand their own unique fluid, and using standard automatic transmission fluid in a continuously variable transmission does not just cause wear, it can destroy the transmission outright. FCA, the parent company behind Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, issued a clear warning. Non-compliant fluid, even if the bottle claims compatibility, leads to erratic shifting, accelerated wear, and early failure. There is no second chance. The moment the wrong fluid circulates, the warranty is void. No exceptions, no appeals. The cost of a mistake like this is not just a repair bill, it is the loss of any factory protection. David Champion from Consumer Reports put it plainly. Using the wrong fluid causes poor lubrication, overheating, and possibly complete failure. Flushing the system after the fact might not undo the harm. In many cases, the internal clutches and bands are already glazed or burned, and the damage is permanent. Mechanics see this mistake so often that some will not even attempt repairs if the wrong fluid has been inside too long. It is not just a matter of draining and refilling. Once the chemistry is compromised, the transmission's internal surfaces cannot be restored to their original condition. Manufacturers design their fluids for precise performance. The viscosity has to be just right for the hydraulic circuits to function, and the friction modifiers must match the materials inside the clutch packs. Even a small mismatch leads to slipping, harsh shifts, and overheating. Over time, that means accelerated oxidation, varnish buildup, and eventual seizure of moving parts. The damage does not always show up immediately, but it is always working in the background, shortening the life of the transmission with every mile. The bottom line is simple. There is no universal transmission fluid. Every vehicle needs exactly what the engineers specified. Saving a few dollars or grabbing what is on sale can end up costing thousands. And with continuously variable transmissions, the margin for error is zero. The wrong fluid means the end of your warranty, and for many transmissions, the beginning of the end. Inside every automatic transmission sits a piece of steel smaller than your thumb. This is the parking powell, a heat-treated pin that locks into a notched ring gear when you shift to park. Most drivers never see it, but they trust it with the weight of their entire vehicle every time they park. Here is the problem. The powell was never designed to hold up against gravity on its own. It is a backup, not the main line of defense. The real work is supposed to be done by your parking brake. When drivers rely on the powell alone, especially on hills or even mild inclines, all that force bears down on that tiny pin. Every pound of your car's weight transfers through a part no bigger than a pencil stub. Over months of lazy parking, the metal starts to deform. It cracks, bends, and eventually fails. Shifting into park or reverse before the car has stopped rolling is even worse. That powell tries to catch spinning gears, scraping across metal teeth. Modern transmissions have reverse inhibitors that block engagement above 5 miles per hour, but plenty of damage happens below that speed. Each time the powell skips, it shears off microscopic bits of metal. Sometimes the pin snaps outright. Repairs for a damaged powell start at $500. If broken pieces get into the rest of the transmission, that bill can climb past $7,000. Mechanics have pulled out powells worn down to nubs, with gear teeth chewed up from years of abuse. The worst failures show up when a car will not shift out of park at all. That is the powell jammed under pressure, locked so tight that only a full teardown will free it. When debris from a broken powell migrates deeper, it jams other components, multiplying the cost and complexity of the repair. Most of these disasters start with a simple mistake: skipping the parking brake. Every time you park on a hill and let the transmission take the load, you are gambling with the most fragile part inside. AA spells out the correct sequence. Keep your foot on the brake, engage the parking brake fully, shift to park, then release the foot brake only after the parking brake holds the weight. 10 seconds is all it takes to protect a part that costs thousands to replace. The parking powell should be your backup, not your first line of defense. This habit does not just save money, it keeps your car moving when you need it most. Revving the engine in neutral, then slamming the shifter into drive, is one of the fastest ways to destroy an automatic transmission. That move, called a neutral drop, sends a shockwave through the system that no clutch pack or gear set is designed to handle. Instead of gradual, controlled engagement, the clutches slam together at full force. The planetary gear sets, those intricate assemblies of gears and bushings, take the hit too, absorbing forces that can twist shafts and shear off teeth in a single violent moment. Friction discs, needle bearings, and one-way clutches called sprags are all exposed to stresses far beyond their limits. One transmission specialist put it bluntly: neutral drops will ruin your transmission, no exceptions. Manufacturers have caught on to how much damage this causes. Many now cap engine speed in neutral at around 4,000 revolutions per minute, cutting power before drivers can do real harm. But even with that safeguard, the damage from a single neutral drop can be catastrophic. Bent input shafts, stripped planetary gears, fractured bands, and metal shavings in the fluid all show up on shop invoices after these stunts. There is no warning light and no second chance. Sometimes the transmission will keep working for a while, but the damage is already done. Every shift gets harsher, every noise gets louder, until the whole unit fails. Getting stuck in snow or mud tempts drivers into another destructive habit, rocking the vehicle by slamming between drive and reverse. It feels like progress, but transmission specialists call it one of the worst things you can do. Each rapid shift delivers shock loads equal to revving the engine to 5,000 revolutions per minute and dropping it into gear. That kind of abuse spikes temperatures inside the transmission, doubling fluid oxidation every time the heat rises by 18 degrees. Service life gets cut in half with each jump. Heat kills faster than anything else, and aggressive rocking can turn a healthy transmission into scrap metal in minutes. After this kind of punishment, the damage reads like a checklist: failed sprags, bent shafts, stripped gears, fractured bands, and even snapped axles. The correct way to get unstuck is slow and deliberate. Make complete stops between direction changes, use gentle throttle, and try only a few times before reaching for sand, kitty litter, or a tow truck. $200 for a tow beats $6,000 for a new transmission every time. Shock. Loading is not just hard on the system. It is instant, permanent, and expensive. Flat towing an all-wheel drive vehicle with the wheels on the ground is a guaranteed way to destroy the transmission, sometimes in less than a mile. Automatic transmissions depend on the engine running to circulate fluid. Without the engine, nothing moves the fluid through the internal passages. The wheels spin, the drive shaft turns, and every gear and bearing inside the transmission rotates at road speed, completely dry. Metal scrapes against metal with no lubrication, grinding away the surfaces that are supposed to last for years. Subaru's official policy leaves no room for debate. Every all-wheel drive model must be transported on a flatbed, never flat-towed. Ignore that, and you are risking catastrophic failure before the car even reaches the repair shop. The cost of this mistake is staggering. Over the last 2 years, all-wheel drive towing damage claims have jumped 23%, with repair bills ranging from $3,000 to $8,000. That is not just a few worn parts, that is full transmission rebuilds or replacements. Insurance companies and manufacturers rarely cover this kind of damage, especially when the owner's manual spells out the towing requirements in black and white. Heat is another silent threat when towing goes wrong. Exceeding a vehicle's tow rating pushes the torque converter and transmission fluid past their safe limits. Once the fluid temperature climbs above 220 degrees Fahrenheit, the chemical structure starts to break down. At 250 degrees Fahrenheit, degradation accelerates, and the fluid loses its ability to protect and cool. Every extra degree shortens the life of the transmission, and the damage does not stop when the temperature drops back down. Thin, modern fluids are even more sensitive, reacting badly to heat and contamination. Once the protective film is gone, internal parts wear at an alarming rate. Flat towing might look harmless, but the reality is relentless internal damage and a repair bill that rivals the price of a used car. The only safe answer is flatbed transport. No exceptions, no shortcuts. One mistake, and the most expensive mechanical system in your vehicle is finished. Temperature is the silent judge of every automatic transmission's future. Inside that metal case, the difference between decades of trouble-free driving and catastrophic failure comes down to a narrow band, 175 degrees Fahrenheit plus or minus 25. Step outside that window, and the risk grows with every mile. Cold starts in winter thicken transmission fluid to the point it cannot flow fast enough, starving moving parts of lubrication and pressure. Nothing inside is protected until the fluid warms up. That is why idling for 1 to 3 minutes on freezing mornings, followed by gentle driving, is not wasted time. It is essential. Rushing off with thick, sluggish fluid means seals shrink, leaks form, and every shift grinds away at the system. Heat is relentless. Every time the temperature rises by 18 degrees, fluid oxidation doubles. That is not just chemistry, it is a countdown. Service life is cut in half with each jump, and the damage is permanent. Modern transmissions run on ultra-low viscosity fluid, just 4.5 centistokes compared to 7.5 in older designs. These new formulas improve fuel economy but leave no margin for error. Thin fluid breaks down faster and is far more sensitive to heat and contamination. Once the fluid starts to degrade, it cannot protect clutch packs or carry away heat, and the dominoes start to fall. Overloading a vehicle by towing past the gross vehicle weight rating forces the transmission to work beyond its limits. Fluid temperatures spike, clutch packs wear out at double speed, and the entire system strains under a load it was never designed to handle. Insurance coverage, warranties, even legal protections can vanish if you exceed those numbers. 35% of drivers skip or delay maintenance, and that is where the failures pile up. Temperature control is not just a detail, it is the whole game. Keep fluid within the ideal range, respect weight ratings, and let the transmission warm up before asking for full power. That is how you double its lifespan. Ignore these basics, and every mile becomes a gamble. Right now, a single overlooked habit can turn a $250 service into a $7,000 disaster. No warning, no second chance. As transmissions grow more complex and sealed, the cost of ignorance keeps rising. Routine care isn't just maintenance, it's survival for your wallet. In the end, the most expensive part is the one you choose to ignore. Share your own stories below, and let's keep each other on the road.